Hi, everyone. I'm Debbie Stokes of Three Women Voices. Today, my special guest will be talking to you about ways to heal hair loss and thinning, things you can do to minimize damage, and some do's and don'ts to get and maintain healthy hair. Now, I introduce to you trichologist and wellness consultant, Precious Rutland. Hi, Precious. How are you?
Hi, Debbie. I am doing great. I'm excited to be with you.
Yes, and I'm excited to have you here. And let's get started.
Okay.
Why don't you start off with telling everybody a little bit about your story?
Absolutely. Um, well, with me, I experienced hair loss myself. I experienced it a couple occasions, and two that stick out to my mind is traction alopecia. So that was from wearing hair extensions too tight, wearing the braids, and then I experienced it again having postpartum hair loss. So after I had my second son, I lost quite a bit of hair, especially in the front. So that was really devastating to me. And by me being a hairstylist, I knew what to do to camouflage and to still feel comfortable and confident as I grew my hair back. But it dawned on me that not a lot of women know how to bounce back from such a traumatic event like that. And so from that point on, I really start deep diving, really looking into nutrition, what it's going to take to grow your hair back. And that's how I became a trichologist.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your business.
Yes. So what I do is I help professional business women that are, well, they want to grow naturally beautiful, healthy hair. And what that looks like is working with them, taking a holistic approach. So not just working with them on their hair because that's the physical aspect of it, but also working with them on the inside. So making sure that they're whole emotionally, as well as physically and spiritually. And so I'm teaching them, not just about nutrition, how to take care of your hair, but really just addressing any issues that you may have, because all of that plays a role into your hair regrowth. And people don't believe it, but it's true. The science is there. And so that is where I come in and show them how to take care of their hair and bodies from a holistic approach.
Okay, so now we know hair loss is a big issue for women and men,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
mostly women. Okay, so what are some major reasons why women start losing their hair or it starts to thin?
Yes. Well, the most common cause is, of course, heredity and genetics, but that's not the only cause. You can also have physical and emotional stress is tied to that. Your environment where you're in, where you can be living, where you can be working. One of the biggest culprits is poor nutrition. So not eating right and taking care of yourself, getting the supplements to fill in the potholes for what your body is lacking. The second biggest thing behind that is medications. Being on these different medications, they're depleting your body of nutrients. That people don't have an awareness that these nutrients even need to be replaced. So that contributes to it. And then if you have hormone fluctuations, like for me, for example, after having the baby, your hormones are all over the place, so you got to get them settled. But you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
So those are some the main reasons why you start to see changes in your hair and in your body.
Okay, so now what are some things that can be done about it?
Um, well, of course, one of the biggest things is definitely managing the stress, especially what's going on right now with the whole pandemic. Just managing your stress. That's the most best thing that you can do right now, because your body, if it's always in that constant flight or flight mode, it can't really calm down because you're just always at alert. You're always on the go. Now you're stressed. You're worried about your job. You know, am I going to get sick? Am I going to get ill? So that's one of the biggest things, is working through that, managing the stress, of course, getting your sleep. I know it's hard to sleep right now, like who can sleep, but you have to find a way to get your rest. That plays a biggest part because your body, your cells need to regenerate and replenish itself. Definitely exercising. A lot of people, they just will not exercise. And I guess when you say exercise, they thinking, well, oh, you got to go to the gym. And that's not the case right now, because, you know, we're on stay-at-home
Right.
orders. And so you're going to have to be creative and do things around the house. That's even if that's just gardening or walking outside, walking with your dog or walking with your kids. So it doesn't have to be nothing too strenuous. But the big thing is just keeping your body moving, even if it's just going up and down flights of stairs, you know, getting that heartbeat to raise, that cardiovascular system. Also, people take for granted even just deep breathing, like we don't even just take in deep breaths and let it go all the way down into our diaphragms. Even if you can do that, that will help to calm your nerves, help to bring your body back in order. And then again, the biggest thing is what we're eating, our nutrition, our meals, especially eating like live food. So when I say live foods, like the raw foods, the raw veggies, like
Okay.
we're quick to get the meat. Not saying anything's wrong with meat, but we need to make sure that it's balanced for what your particular body needs.
Okay. So now you say that you help people heal thinning and hair loss from
hmm
inside out. What do you mean by that?
So just speaking on the things that I just mentioned for you. So a lot of times the clients, they'll come to me, and say that my hair is thinning, and then they'll start to ramble off on a different topical treatments, shampoos and products that they've taken, or they've even, bought these hair vitamins because they said they saw that it'll work.
Right.
And so what I'm looking at is, again, I'm looking at you as a whole person. So I'm not looking at just the physical. I'm looking at your daily lifestyle. Tell me,
Gotcha.
what you do when you get up. What do you do when you go to sleep? I want to know, what you're eating, how much you're eating, because all of that is playing a role. I need to know, what kind of job do you have, so I can help guide you and give you like the tools that you need to manage that. And then I can say, okay, Debbie, since you have this type of job, you need to be eating more of these type of foods, because these are more energizing foods. These are the
Okay.
foods that are going to replenish your adrenals, so you don't be crashing and getting tired
Okay.
in the middle of the day. So I'm really looking at you from a holistic approach, so and helping you to heal on the inside. And then so when your hair grows back, it's not duplicating or replicating, the cells aren't replicating that damaged hair, because your
Okay.
cells are now healed, and now you can grow healthy hair.
Okay. So what impact does hair extensions and weaves have on hair loss?
It has a pretty big difference, a big impact on it. So as far as how's it installed, how are you taking care of it? Because it's one thing to get it installed properly, but what are you doing to maintenance in between? I like to teach my clients, scalp is skin. So just because you got it installed, and yes, you don't have to do or manipulate it on a day-to-day basis because you're busy, you still have to find a way to take care of your scalp. So for instance, if you're a heavy sweater, say you work out a lot, or you're just maybe going through menopause, you're sweating.
Mhm.
And so you still need to cleanse your scalp so your scalp can breathe. It still needs air. And so you run into problems when you start to neglect that. Just doing the basic things. So yeah, we can put the weaves on and it looks good, but are you taking care of it underneath? And that's my biggest thing. If you can't take care of your scalp underneath so they can breathe, then we shouldn't be wearing them at
Okay.
all.
Okay. Yeah, because I see a lot of women who have damage, especially around the edges, from
Hmm.
and things like that. Yeah. Okay. And now, in what ways does the immune system aid in having healthy hair?
Yes, the immune system plays a big effect in having healthy hair because it goes back to if your immune system is not working properly, then you're not able to fight off any sicknesses, and then your immune system, you begin to get inflammation within your body. So once you get that inflammation in your body can't fight off any sicknesses. It can't replicate your cells, hair cells, because the nutrients that you did have in your body is too busy over here trying to fight off the inflammation
Okay.
and balance your body out, keep it in that homeostasis state.
Mhm.
So that is like where you run into um, some of these autoimmune related hair issues that we'll have, such as like the lupus and the Hashimoto's, with the thyroid, or like the Crohn's disease, because again, we have that inflammation in our body. Our immune system isn't working properly. It's compromised.
Okay. Now, you said you had alopecia. Is that considered an immune disease? Was
No, what I had was traction alopecia, and then I
oh
had postpartum alopecia.
oh
So the traction alopecia, um, luckily I caught it in time. That was from wearing like the hair braids too tight,
oh.
or like my hair weave was sewn in too tight. And I knew better, but I did it anyway. So
Okay.
that was on me. But what caught me was when it happened the second time, and that was after I had my second son, and I experienced a postpartum hair loss. And so that was something that I was never aware of, because I had my first son and my hair was still full head of hair, and I can do whatever I want to do, cut it off, and it'll be done, grew back within a couple of months.
Right.
But when I had my second son, it didn't bounce back as fast, and it was really thin. And like I said, it all came out at once. So the technical term for postpartum hair loss is telogen effluvium, and that's where the hair just sheds itself all at once and in a big
Okay.
amount.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so that is what got me opening my eyes, like, oh my gosh, what am I finna do? And
Right.
then so that's what made me start looking deeper into the different hair losses and what can be done to help balance and bring the hair back.
Okay. So now, what can boost your immune system to help with hair growth?
What starters really it all boils down to is our diet. And because the soils aren't like they used to, like it's not mineral rich, they got all kind of chemicals and things that they're spraying on our fruits and things, so it's going to be hard to get the main nutrients that we need from the earth. So it's between the raw foods, the healthy foods, but then coming in and then supplementing where you need to. um yeah, that's pretty much about it. That's really what you can do as far as like boosting your immune system, and then again, um getting your rest so the body can replenish itself and the cells can regenerate.
Okay. So now, can all damaged hair be corrected?
um it depends, and why I say that is how soon can you catch it. So again, I'll use myself for an example. When I lost that hair after my second son, I was able to nourish it and catch it, because the postpartum alopecia, it can turn into scarring alopecia if you just don't nourish it, especially also with the traction alopecia. If you don't catch it in time and continue to nourish the follicles, you run the risk of it being permanently scarred and it won't grow back. So it all depends on what stage that you're catching it. And then another thing that's going to depend on that is if you had any, again, traumatic experience in that head area, meaning did you have any surgeries or anything to where the hair is just pulled like so tight to it just pulled the whole follicle, the whole bulb out of your head, and there's no follicle to come behind it for it to grow up. And so if you have cases like those, no, your hair won't come back. And then that's when you just focus on the rest of the hair that you do have.
Okay.
So it just depends on how severe the damage was and what was it due to.
Okay. So now what do you think about hair implants, like in those cases?
The hair implants are going to be a catch-22 again, because you have to go to a dermatologist or one of the scalp surgeons, and they would be able to do a biopsy. And then that's why I said it depends on how severe your scarring is, because they have to take a biopsy and look deep into the scalp to see, well, how far does the scalp tissue go. They have to determine if you're going to be a good candidate, because even if they do transplant the hair from one part of your head to the next part of your head, it still may not work if the follicles are just dead and it doesn't want to grow back, if there's no circulation there in that area, and if the scarring was just too deep.
Okay.
And you don't know until they can go in and do the surgery. So I always recommend for people to do everything they can naturally and possibly just to let their body do it on their own
Okay.
before they consider during the transplant.
Got you. Okay. So now what is postpartum hair loss?
Yes, so the postpartum hair loss was what I just described, was when the hair it sheds itself all at once. So again, your hormones are fluctuating up and down, and it doesn't happen like immediately after you have your baby or anything, but it happens normally between 4 to 6 months. I want to say sometimes it can even happen up to a year after you've had your child, and it can definitely catch you off guard. It's very common. Now, some people may not experience it all. Like I said, I had my first son and that was fine. I didn't have any hair loss. But the next time I had my son, I guess just with the nutrients and everything, you know, as moms, we produce all that for our baby. So everything was going to him, and I was breastfeeding at the same time. So I wasn't, I guess, getting enough nourishment for my body. So that's where you have to come in and really make sure you're taking your supplements, eating healthy foods, and drinking water.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You won't believe, like, a lot of people, they don't like to drink water. And I'm thinking, like, how can you not like drink water? And our body is over 70% water. Like, that is what really helps to lubricate everything and keep us functioning and flush out the toxins.
Right. Okay. So now, what are some do's and don'ts to help create healthy growing hair?
Some do's and don'ts. I would say do shampoo your hair as often as you need to, especially with the African American. I know that we've been told it wasn't good to shampoo our hair often or every day because it'll break off. So that was at least what I was told growing up. But as I studied, you know, went to school and got my certification in trichology, and I started knowing the anatomy of the hair and the scalp, I was like, okay, who told you guys that? Because that was just wrong information. We didn't have good information. So that's what we need to be doing, is cleansing our scalps and shampooing. So that's going to help to minimize a lot of the conditions that we have going on with our hair. So I definitely will say shampoo your hair as often as needed. Do use quality products on your hair. You can definitely tell a difference when you try to use cheaper shampoos or conditioners at your hair. It just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Now, granted, some of the products, cheaper products, they may work for others, but for the most part, you can just tell the cheap products from the quality products. The cheaper products tend to be more drying to the hair. Your hair frizzes faster. It doesn't have any shine. It's dull. So definitely pay attention to the quality of products that you're using. Definitely do use hair masks and deep conditioning treatments, especially for African Americans. Our hair are already kinky coily, so you have to replenish and put that moisture back into the hair follicles. Make sure that you're using wide tooth combs when you're detangling your hair, especially when it's wet. Your hair is the most fragile when it's wet. Another big thing is trim your hair when you need to. So you don't have to trim it. I guess what the rule of thumb was, you trim it every 4 to 6 weeks. And now people they're trying to retain as much hair as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So I always recommend, trim your hair as needed. I would definitely say if you're having issues with your hair, and trying to get it back in a healthy state, don't do the relaxers and other chemical treatments and the colors. Lay off of it for a while. So if you're having issues with that, don't use it. Whatever you can do to minimize the stress, the tension on your hair, just stop. And then I will say, don't do a lot of the hot tools. We blow drying and we're curling and we got it hot and we got to have, because we're trying to have it straight, we got to have it bone straight. But again, if your hair is compromised, don't do that, and definitely find hairstyles that work for you.
Okay. So now how damaging is like sometimes as Black women
Mm-hmm.
to blondes and like the really lighter colors, like are they damaging to your hair when you do that?
Well, anytime we put any color in or any relaxer, anything that's gonna change the texture and the bonds of our hair, yes, it's damaging. And I say that because it puts pressure on your body system, especially your liver, because it's taking all of our body and our our hair follicles to break that product down and process it. And then like the lighter we want our hair, the more bleach, so it's just a constant battle. So yes, it does damage our hair every time we put it on. So it's good to just give your hair a break from that as well.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of suggestions can you give women about their hair that we haven't discussed yet to help them with their hair?
Um, Always get a consultation with your hair before you decide to, jump into these styles or do these chemical treatments, such as the color or how to deal with your gray. Because what I have also seen, as I worked in the salon and just people coming to me, is that when your stylist advises you, hey, this isn't good to do to your hair, then people still do it anyway. Or they're like, oh, well, you won't put color in my hair, I'll go put color in there on my own. And it's like, no, we're not telling you can't have the color. It's a reason we telling you you can't have color. Your hair isn't strong enough, it isn't elastic. We can tell, how, if you could just feel if it's brittle in your hand and feel like it's about to break off, you shouldn't be doing any color or anything like that. So I would say always consult and get a consultation, because then once you get a consultation, it saves you money, it saves you time. And then, if you got to wait a little longer, so what? You got to wait a little longer till your hair strengthens back up, and then you can get the style that you want and be pleased. So it goes hand in hand.
Okay. Thanks, Precious.
Hmm.
So if anybody wanted to reach out to you, how can they reach you?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn. Just type in my name, Precious Rutland. On Facebook and Instagram, it's Dirty Hair Secrets with an S on
Oh,
the end. And then I do have my book. It's on Amazon, and it's called Hair Regrowth Starts Within: 8 Ways to Heal Inside Out. The link is bit.ly Hair Regrowth Book. And also, if you're interested in like what foods that can help to boost your energy, that would be really good for you to help you stay healthy. I also have a resource guide, so you guys are welcome to look at that. The address for that is bit.ly at top mood boosting foods. And then last but not least, if you just want to have a consultation or a strategy session just to get on the phone and just share what you're going through, and you need a plan basically on how to heal your hair from the inside out, and what's the next step, you can also contact me, and I'll be glad to do that for you. The link for that is bit.ly at healed hair.
okay. Thank you, Precious.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank everybody for watching.